Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome, friends and neighbors. I guess the winter time is officially over. It's about 95 degrees here in the shop, and so I went ahead and hooked us up a fan over there. I was starting to get a little overheated doing some bevel work. I went ahead and jumped the gun on that a little bit, kind of save time. Like I said before, I can't predict how long these videos will run, so I try to do the things I know are going to take a while. Go ahead and try to at least get them halfway done before I hit the record button. Beveling is just one of those exceptions. I'm already a little over 3/4 of the way done with beveling. I want to move on to the handle making and all that stuff. I need to finish a couple more little streaks on each side to get it beveled. I go till I have to squint to see a shimmer of light along the edge of the blade. You can see it's not sharp. I'm running my hand across it, not getting cut, so it's not really sharp. But it's I bring it as close as I can to where I'm not afraid of it warping if it's in the heat, if it's in the forge. But it's close enough that it makes it easier for me when I go to put my final edge on it to sharpen it. This is how I operate. So that's where we're at now, the beveling and handle making on this Micanopy pattern knife build. Welcome to Swanee Valley Knives. Let's dive in. Best thing about that fan, hopefully it's going to push this dust somewhat out the door, out of the workshop. It's got my nose running, it's got my eyes burning, it's just, oh my goodness, I ain't feeling too good this evening here in the shop, but I'm pressing on. Let's get this thing finished beveling. Let me hang my hat up, gear up, and we'll get busy. Loud noise. We'll flip sides. Not much longer on it. Beveling is just one of those things that takes a good little while. Loud noise. You kind of see this light shimmer. Just on that edge. Stop right there. All right. Let's go look at the handle now. Make the sauce like talk to you. Let's see here. I was wanting to get into the heat treating during this video, but I actually got done with beveling a little earlier than expected, and it's still kind of daylight outside. I try to wait till dusk and dark, but I'll do that in the next video. Definitely be in a heat treat video, and that video probably won't run as long as most of them do. So what I'm gonna do now, well, I already got selected the handle material. It's the same one that I did before for this customer. Remember, he lost the one I made for him, and that's perfect. That is just perfect on the beveling. I still won't worry about it warping in the forge, but it's thin enough that when I get ready to put my final edge on there, it won't take me long. So what I'm going to do now, instead of worrying about getting the handle actually cut in shape, I'm going to get the width of my scales. I go ahead and I try to get them as close profiled as possible to the width. So again, when it comes to the final production of putting it on the belt grinder, it makes it a little bit easier for me, and it's a little bit time saving that way. It's the steps I take now to make it easy for myself later on. So you're welcome, future me. So let's get this thing lined up real quick. We're over here at the bandsaw now. I'm getting it set up. I got this guide I made out of a piece of scrap wood from my other project that I had. I finished. So what I do is these epoxy scales are at the perfect width, I think, for a good knife handle. They're good comfortable width, not too wide. So that's how I kind of measure this out. I lay it right here. Is that my smooth side? That's more of the yeah, but I guess I better use this side. It's kind of a little on the crooked side. There we go, that's better. And what I do then is I take my clamps, once I get it close, it ain't gonna be real perfect. And this is fat on one side, this epoxy. It gets thinned out down here and a little bit thicker on that side. Once I get it locked in or get it profiled where I want it, take my clamps. I think I'll go to the back side first. I always start with the hardest one first. And just to kind of like, it's you know, like if they had a guide on here, you just lock it in place. And that works just fine. And we'll get this side, make sure it's straightened where that needs to be. Get this guy out of the way. Make sure this boot is off the edge a little bit, because what will happen is your material cut and will actually bevel out. So the next thing I do, when you're using those band saws, you want to make sure this does have a high and a low spot. I think that's the flush side. So this actually concaves down. What you want to do, you want to bring your blade about a good 1/4 inch above the material you're cutting. That helps with any kind of blade deflection, especially on the bottom, because you could be cutting right on your line here, but that blade will be going in, coming a little bit thinner on the other side. It deflect a little bit, so you just want to make sure you get that set up. This kind of helps towards that, help prevent that. Loud noise. want to give them as much panel material as possible. Trying to draw this out real quick. Pull the mask down a little bit so I can talk. I want to try to give them as much handle material as possible all the way up to the front. The cherry wood I couldn't do that with. There was only so much I could use of that. Make the length. This mahogany I can do that with. I want to get them as much handle material as possible. Go above and beyondage, you know what I mean? Flip this over. You don't necessarily have to do it this way, but it's just the way my mind works. It's the only mind I got, so I don't try to go against it. So I apologize if this don't match what everybody else would do. That's the thing. Do what makes you happy. Do what makes it easy for you. You know, that's what's fun about this. I can sit here, I can be my own boss about this. I know where I want to cut things, where I want to put the curve, where I want to put this and that. It's just fun. Alright, suit back up. Let's cut these up. I don't know how much my hand's going to be in the way, but I'll do this best I can for you. Loud noise. And if you mess up on the saw, you lop off a little more past the line, or you get them, you know, not so matched up, don't worry about it. We have time in the final production to make these look beautiful and straight and all that stuff. But right now, I got it where I want it to be. I'm to the point where I can tape these up and they match just good enough where I can get the holes pre-drilled and they still line up. That's my concern at this point. And when I get ready for my final production, then I'll worry about making this thing perfect and beautiful and the best knife they're ever going to ever hold in their hands. So let's get these things taped together. We'll get it over to the drill press, get us some holes. We're getting to business right here. So what I want to do, if anything, I make sure it gets flush. You can see how the back ends, they don't match up. You can see they kind of off cut and everything. Like I said, we'll get that in the final production. Get that done. I just want these two front ends to match. That's what I want. I want those to be flush. That's the only thing I really be concerned about at this point. I want them to be as flush as possible. When they're on the knife, it's kind of hard to get in there and make sure they're flush and centered with each other and they're where they're supposed to be. When they're glued up, that is. So I make sure that is the part that I keep flush, if at all possible. You can see these are kind of, my drawing sucks. That's why most of the time in my final production, I'm fixing my mistakes with the drawing or whatever, or something was out of line. And God forbid if I ever actually pull out a tape measure and measure anything, then I'm really in trouble. That was 3 inches yesterday. Now, apparently I'm a quarter of an inch off, just that kind of stuff. So we just tape it up, these two things together, nice little wrap, good and tight, that way they don't go back and forth. Now we take the knife, get it over here. Like I said, right now we're just trying to get it taped together, get these holes drilled, and that's going to be what I call the ugly duckling for right now. So we'll just go ahead right where the other tape is and just tape it. And this one's going to get 3 pins. This is the 3-pin model. So, and I think this is the one that gets the stainless steel. I don't know if I'll be able to get this to fit in there. I'll give it my best shot. I just need to get it crimped. That's all I need. I'll cut a little section off. Cut it. About time for a replacement blade on this thing, just so I can get it measured up with the right bit and everything. Hey, close up, will you? Thank you. Sometimes, this Harbor Freight thing, so far it's been good. And sometimes, that's probably my fault too. I make sure I tighten these down pretty tight, or else they'll do any kind of pressure they do move. But I just make sure I get them tightened, and it's no longer an issue. I'll hang you back up. So let's match up the pins with this one, or the drill bit, make sure I get the right size. I think I remember this one. I think it was I think this is an 1/8. No, it's the next one up. 9/64, maybe? Get it to fit in there. Yeah, 9/64s. Looks like. I knew it was an odd number. Let me drill. Well, no. Even this looks too loose. Let's try the 5/32s. See what we got. That's too much play in 5. Alright, let's do the 9/62s, 64s. See what we got going on with that. Well, it takes longer to set up the machine than it does to actually do the drilling process. Knock that down a little bit. This is my daddy's old drill press. Still kicking ass. Look at here. All right, we're ready. I'm gonna keep a good firm grip. Now I ain't worried about this. It's not sharp, so I'm gonna keep a good firm grip. Make sure she don't do a lot of moving around. Remember, it's getting 3 pins. So I need to shoot one here, in the middle, and one on that end. Let's do this. Oh, she's doing some dancing already. That drill bit's already doing some dancing. Got this thing set to the lowest thing. Make it easy with it. That's just through. There you go. Now, don't you do it. Don't you do it. Easy now. Don't you wall her out. When it lifts like that, that scares the shit out of me because I think it's starting to roll her out. I'm going to take a few passes, clean out the hole. Wallers. I want precision. I want beauty. This is another part I try to get right off the bat. I like these holes drilled clean. And when it does that, when it lifts up, that's what it scares me the most. Smoking. Hang on just a second. We'll take our time with it. Alright. Good hold of her. Get her through. There you go. Oh, you know what? Where's that touching? Close to it, but it ain't really. I'll switch sides now. Hold it from this end. Huh. Hang on a minute, I see what's going on too. It's slipping up inside the chuck. Drop her down a little bit. That's funny. The drill press was hungry. It was eating most of my. Let's try to swallow some of my bit. Move that table over a little bit. All right, let's try her again. There she goes. She's getting warm. Back off a little bit. Just to get through the middle. Let's take it easy. Going through. Hold her down, boys. Hold her down. There you go. Clean the hole out. Call that what it is. Now we do a little test here. She's a little tight going in. She's also beat up on that end too. We might not need to use that side. There she goes. We have her all the way through. Now why do you stop that halfway? Oh, you got 2 bad ends on you. You see that end and then this end? Let's go get us some pins cut. And we'll call it what it is. Cut the tape off here. So we'll cut our pins out. There's tape off. The old Buck 110. This is my shop worker here. It's does good work around this shop. Y'all just don't know. When I'm off camera and I'm working around this little knife here, it does do some work, boy. Not to knock the camera off. Let's get this off of here. Lay it to the side. Get that right there. Come on. Didn't I cut you? I know I cut that tape down. Come on. Still a little strand of it hanging on. There we go. All right, now. Are you serious? You now? Of course, I did put about 6 layers of tape on this. Well, damn it, I made sure it was staying secure. No shifting. I know, but still. Talking to yourself, everybody's gonna think you're going crazy. I'm not crazy. Not crazy. Alright, got this part now. What I want to do is cut some pins. Make sure I cut it right above that part that's bad. Alright, that piece. Now I'll make sure now I'm gonna cut the pins. I don't want that piece. Drop that piece out. See just about where I want to go. Right there. Let's go just above that. I ain't looking for perfect. Right now. And these are epoxy scales. If this was epoxy, I'd make sure I get them just as flush as I can get them. Since this is wood, not really too worried about it. There's one. Well, you stay on the floor. I'll come back and get you. All right, measure this one out. Over here, kind of right in there. All right, we're almost there, folks, for this video. You hit the floor too? All right. And now let's just put the thing together. This handle should be all matched up. And I think I'm gonna end it right here, y'all. Good places, ain't it? I think. There we go. There's that. So if you haven't done so already, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And don't miss the rest of this build with this knife right here. And as we continue on, the next video will be heat treating. Always fun to light up that forge. Always a good time. Come on, get in there. I swear this fits. Fit just a second ago. But anywho, thank y'all so much for clicking on. And then hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Hit the bell for new video notifications. Hit like, because that lets YouTube know that you're enjoying the content that I am providing for you. And keep me in the realm of algorithm happiness. I'm going to keep fighting this to get these pins in these holes, get them all lined up. And until next time, I shall see you when I see you.